I've been seeing so much bullshit online with investors and on social media, and just lies being told to people that want to get into investing about how great it is, how rich you can get, how quick the money is, and it's just straight up lies. It is one of the best ways to build wealth out there, one of the best assets that generates income, but you need to know the actual truth if you're investing in real estate. For one, it's long term. So I'm going to go through the 5 biggest lies that people tell that you need to know before you start investing. You're either a client that's looking at investing, and I'm sending you this video so you can get an idea, or you're someone just looking up how to invest in real estate and you need to know the negatives or the not so true things from the background. And you might see some people online that are posting about being a real estate investor, but don't feel like you're behind because a lot of people bought the wrong properties during COVID. So let's get right into it. Number 1, my real estate pays for my lifestyle for 3 extra trips a year to the hot countries. That is so false unless you own like 100 units. If someone owns like 2 to 10 properties, even if they're making cash flow, you should not be spending that cash flow. For example, I own 8. I've had 2 years where I've had negative cash flow. Last year was down like 15,000 because I had to do a roof, I had to do 2 furnaces, some water in the basement. So I literally spent, it was like 3.5 to 4 years of cash flow of all my properties in 1 year. So it's 3 or 4 years, I'm gonna have to pay that fund back, right? There's other years that are positive, mind you, right? So it kind of evens out, but I'm not bringing my family on an extra trip a year. I'm saving all that cash flow just in case years like last year happen. Number 2, it's passive income. Hilarious. This is also false. Being a real estate investor is way more active than you may think. You could hire a property manager, but you're still always getting some calls, and you still have to be present and active depending where you buy and how much you're spending. It is more passive in the way that you can do it while you have a full-time job, but it still requires more headaches than you can believe. So I know my wife now is helping me manage a couple of properties. She's like, you have to deal with this all the time. It's become normal to me, but it's more than you expect. It's not just passive income. Number 3, another lie you hear is, I own a $5 million portfolio. Some people have it in their Instagram bio. No, you have $5 million worth of debt. What is your portfolio actually worth? So you may see that on someone's profile and think, wow, I'm so behind, they're a millionaire. But really, most investors are trying to put the least amount of down payment possible. So that 5 million portfolio, they might only have 200,000 worth of equity in there. The rest is all debt. That's an extreme example. It's probably more than 200,000, but you know what I mean. They put the portfolio amount. Yes, the real estate is worth that much, but often the debt is worth almost as much. And some people are using private money to leverage and even leverage themselves even more to 95%. So you can do the math. There's not as much equity as you may think. So don't feel like you're too far behind. You can jump in, get a good deal, have equity right away. Number 4, I like to go to the ghetto and buy the cheap properties because they cash flow higher. The amount of times that I've seen or heard this is crazy. The cash flow looks good on paper, but I promise you, you have to be either super active. So if you have another job, it might be very difficult to manage these properties. Vacancy and bad debt and tenants not paying and trashing the place, you gotta account for that, and that's way higher. So you can't use your normal maintenance fee on a property in the ghetto, right? Or in the worst parts of the city. You gotta use a way higher number, and that usually eats into your cash flow. Those are probably the only areas that I have people that often regret their purchases. And it's not for me selling them the property because I tell them, I put it in writing, I don't agree with this purchase. You know, sometimes if it's a nice property, well maintained, you can get good tenants, certain pockets, I'll do it for sure. But ultimately, if someone says they only buy in the cheapest areas because they have high cash flow, that cash flow gets eaten up by a tenant not paying for 6 months, or by a tenant ruining the place, having some issues like that. Number 5, using 1.5% maintenance fee when you're calculating your numbers. That is kind of like the rule of thumb, right? Over the course of the property, you're gonna have some maintenance to do, but that's like a pretty perfect property. Most of my properties, I'm spending a lot more than I expected on renos. And like I said, you have 1 year of shingles, 15 grand, boom. You have 1 year of a furnace, 5 grand, right? So that adds up. You get water in the basement, one of them, between 15 and 25. How many years of cash flow is that? right? So these things do come up. Even in my properties, and I buy some deals, right? If my clients don't want them, then I pick them up, but it still happens to me. So you really need to know what you're buying, what to put the maintenance fee at. And the reason I say it's a lie is because it's never 1.5%. Trust me, it's always a little bit more. So when you see the numbers, my property's cash flowing 500, 600, 700 bucks a month. That's not in their math. They don't have a new roof in 3 years, 4 years, right? So that would be, boom, basically zero for 5 years. Okay, I was really just realized I was pretty negative there, that whole video about lies, but I'm just trying to be realistic. That being said, I still think investing in real estate is such a good thing and good way to make money and build equity and build wealth. Every month, you're paying down a mortgage. One property, you have debt, but you can write things off against it, and you have a property. Most of these properties are bringing in $35,000 to more, depending if it's a duplex or more, a year. So that's like added onto your income. Yes, you have a mortgage paying it down, but you write off the interest, other write-offs, and paying down the mortgage over time. So that's what I have to say. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. I'm Tristan Ritchie.